Hey everyone, my name is Andrew Leverett, and I am the general manager here at Genji Esports. I'm going to be reading a couple and answering some questions for you guys today. So, as general manager at Genji, I oversee our NBA 2K team. I oversee our female Valorant and female Fortnite teams, and then I also oversee our male professional Valorant team. So I think I had a little bit of an advantage because I was a professional player. So I have a little bit more insight into the pro scene than maybe some other general managers or leadership positions in esports that were a little more business oriented. But I think maybe the strongest skill that helped me get into a position of general manager would be networking. I think it's really important in esports to connect with your peers, talk to players, other managers, coaches, everything. The more you kind of really indulge yourself in the scene, the more likely you are to be knowledgeable and be an asset for an organization. So I think my route is a little different than a lot of people. So after high school, I went to college at the University of Tennessee, and I got a degree in finance and logistics. I worked for a logistics company for a couple of years, and then I started really enjoying a game called H1Z1. I played it pretty heavily. I was working during the day, getting 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep at night and just playing a ton of H1Z1. I ended up being good enough to get into the H1Z1 Pro League, so I quit my job and I pursued that. And then since then, I knew I wanted to stay in esports, maybe not as a player anymore. So I coached a couple of my friends' teams. I just stayed involved in the Battle Royale community, and that ultimately led to a position as the Apex Legends coach here at Genji. And then once I was inside Genji, I just continued to learn, making myself useful, learning new skills and everything, and I was able to rise up to general manager. I think this question in itself could probably be like a whole 30-minute conversation. But I think the general idea is that esports is just going to continue to grow. It's getting more inclusive. More and more people are starting to look at it. Even like, I'm from the Tennessee, southern part of the United States, where esports, I would say, is even less common and known. Like, I've had to kind of go more in depth when I explain my job to family members and stuff like that, as opposed to what I've seen in maybe Las Vegas and out in LA. But even here in the South, things are starting, like technology, esports. It's just like it's a part of life now. Everyone has smartphones, everything. So my dad will be talking to me about something he saw in the Call of Duty League or something. You know, everyone's keeping up with esports, and it's just going to keep growing. I would say this is probably kind of varies GM to GM, but since I was originally the coach for our Valorant team, I'm an exceptionally hands-on general manager. But I also think it's important if you're kind of looking at it from like a bird's eye view, you're not going to have the same perspective and understanding if you're really like inside the teams, you're working with the players, and you're really like a part of the entire environment and culture. You get a better understanding and a better idea of what's going on inside of your teams, so you can better manage them and help them get the success they're looking for. I think that probably kind of depends on the time of year and what's going on in each esport. NBA 2K, we have a draft coming up, so I know our coach has been preparing heavily, and it's been taking a large portion of his time. For Valorant, we're right in the middle of the Valorant Champions Tour, and we just qualified for the first Masters. So I would say right now, a lot of our resources are being spent on Valorant and making sure we maximize our potential and how well we can do in this first Masters event. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know me a little bit and learn a little bit about a general manager at Genji Esports. See you guys.
Hi, my name is Jess, and I'm the art director for Gen G Esports. So my job as art director encompasses a lot of different things. I oversee graphics and motion effects for all of the assets that we need, and I also assist in a lot of the video production. Some things that I think are good foundations for design, especially in esports, is obviously always having team colors and logos be present and sort of really center in your graphic design. You always want to nod back to the team aesthetic and your overall brand guidelines. As the art director for Gen G, I do have a hand in a lot of different things, from social media promotional graphics to jersey design or merch design, and everywhere in between. Other than Gen G, I actually admire a lot of the small and upcoming artists in the esports industry. There are so many talented people out there that do more than just graphic design. They illustrate, they paint, and they do different things. And I see a lot of teams now sort of incorporating that style of art into their social graphics, their promotional graphics, their match graphics. And so those are artists and a new style of art that I really see upcoming and that I really admire. For me personally, when I'm designing, there are a lot of different things I take into account when I'm thinking about what I want to create. I do like to take influence from not only the esports community, but also music and fashion and sort of what a lot of other genres are doing. I think all of that influences one another and does currently and will also start to have a bigger influence on the esports community. I think it's really important to follow a lot of different genres and designers, not even in the esports community, but in the music and art industries as well. I think all of that can have a positive influence on your designs and really bring something new to the table. So I do often have to make a design from scratch, and unfortunately, we don't always have a ton of time to get something going. So in most cases, I have about one full working day, if that, to get a completely new design from start to finish, worked on and out to whoever may need it. As far as designs that I think will grow in popularity in the esports community in the future, like I said before, I really do think that so many industries are now coming together with esports, like the music industry and the arts and things like that. So I do think that esports is going to grow in terms of how you may typically visually see it or reference it right now. So I think you will begin to see nods to all of these other communities that are going to have a bigger influence in the overall visual identity and also collaborative identity of esports. My favorite part about designing for an esports org is that it's still such a new industry, and so many orgs like Gen G are growing rapidly and still sort of creating their own brand identity. So there is so much freedom, creative freedom right now in building a brand and what that looks like. And that to me is the most exciting.